Santos Escobar just made some big additions to his new faction, so we'll see what's new there. We'll also check out some big teasers from Lola Vice, Bianca Belair, and more. Starting things off with Bianca Belair and her remarks. Ever since the creation of the faction with the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley, a popular topic of conversation amongst the fans has always been the possible story direction of Montez bringing his wife, Bianca Belair, into the group. Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins joined Bobby Lashley in the first place because they were going through a rough patch and wanted to freshen things up in a big way. Well, funny enough, Bianca Belair was going through a little rough patch of losses herself right around the same time as the Street Profits. So that's what really fueled the fan interest and curiosity for if Bianca could also be on her way to the group. But that doesn't seem to be the direction they're going with. They've heavily hinted at the idea of bringing B-Fab into the faction instead, which we did say is a great move because B-Fab definitely needs that spot and could benefit from it way more than Bianca Belair. Bianca is already a top star and doesn't really need a faction to help her grow because she's already on top of the world. But fans are still curious to see if WWE will ever pull the trigger on showcasing the married couple, Bianca Belair and Montez Ford, on WWE television. They briefly appeared with each other in the early days of the WWE Performance Center shows when Bianca was first called up in 2020. Bianca was alongside the Street Profits for a few weeks there, and even after her title win at WrestleMania 37, they also appeared on SmackDown to celebrate with her. But outside those few brief moments, we've never seen the WWE couple really get involved with each other in a major storyline the way that we've seen couples like Seth Rollins and Becky, Nikki Bella and John Cena, and so many others all get involved with each other. Bianca Belair was recently speaking with Roar Around the Ring podcast, and she shared her thoughts on if she believes Montez and herself will ever work together on WWE television. She had this to say, quote, "I think in the future we will come together, but it's kind of hard. Because once you put us together, how do you separate us? But I'm excited to see where that goes. That faction to me is so powerful. I just think they're unstoppable, and I just can't wait until they get some momentum." End quote. So Bianca Belair doesn't see herself joining the current faction, but she still has extremely high hopes for them. She thinks they can truly be unstoppable with the right momentum under them. Storyline-wise, things have slowed down a bit for Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. The Street Profits are coming off a tag team title match loss, and Bobby Lashley is now out of the United States title tournament. They've still been talking with B-Fab though, so we'll have to see if that story will pick up again, maybe once B-Fab officially joins. But no matter if it's the faction or not, Bianca Belair still feels like she'll work with her husband inside the WWE ring one day. It looks like her big question, though, is how will they separate the two on WWE television once their program together is over? Bianca and Montez have already stated in the past that they don't want any part of having on-screen storyline issues and arguments with each other. So if they do anything with them on WWE television, it'll have to be all peaceful. And when they're done, they can just nicely go their separate ways on WWE television. Sort of like what we saw with Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch in 2019. They were together for the program with Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans. But once it was over, Seth and Becky quietly went their own separate ways on screen. So maybe a route like that for Bianca Belair and Montez Ford is possible. Bianca Belair also spoke about the big loss of Charlotte Flair to the women's division. Bianca Belair praised Charlotte's work, saying that Charlotte wasn't a legend in the making because Charlotte was already a legend in her eyes. She acknowledged that losing Charlotte is huge and there's no replacing her. But Bianca Belair did note that Charlotte Flair's absence leaves a big void in the women's division, and there's going to be a lot more opportunities for the women's division, and they need to step up more than ever. So it's a right time for someone to accept the challenge and gain some momentum. And Bianca has a fair point. It's sort of like what we see in the NFL, NBA, and all other sports. That next man up mentality. If someone goes down, it's devastating. You can't wait to have them back. But the show must go on, and someone has to step up and at least try to fill their shoes, and try to light a spark in the Stars' absence. So we'll see who decides to step up in the women's division. The LWO versus Santos Escobar storyline has been one of the major highlights from SmackDown over the last few weeks. The seeds of Santos Escobar's frustration with Rey Mysterio has been there from the very start, and continued to boil up until Santos couldn't hold back anymore. He hated how Rey came into his faction, took leadership of it, made everything about himself, and even changed the name of Santos's faction. He didn't like how Rey brought in Carlito, how Rey took the United States title match, and so many other little things that he claimed Rey Mysterio did to him. And sure, he's the heel. He's the bad guy of the story. But Santos does have a fair point about some of the things he went through because of Rey Mysterio. It did feel like Santos had his faction and leadership position striped from him because of Rey turning the group into LWO and then leading them, and Santos never liked that. Santos tried to get his original faction members to leave Rey's side and join him again, but they all turned him down, which led to this latest big move from Santos Escobar. On the December 22nd edition of SmackDown, Santos Escobar was able to defeat Bobby Lashley in the semifinals, but he didn't do it alone. Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo played a big role in taking out the Street Profits and causing a distraction for Santos to win. Santos will now have to face Kevin Owens to determine the next challenger for Logan Paul's United States title. And sure, Santos is on a warpath of revenge right now to get the United States title opportunity that was stolen from him. But it seems very unlikely that WWE will do a heel versus heel match between Logan Paul and Santos Escobar, so Kevin Owens should very easily win this tournament. WWE even teased a Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul feud several weeks ago, so Kevin winning the tournament would be a big payoff for that backstage interaction. So maybe the LWO will come back to cost Santos the match against Kevin Owens. But one thing is for sure, and that's the fact that Santos Escobar once again has numbers on his side. He's once again leading a new faction and has some reinforcements to go up against Rey Mysterio and the LWO. And fans are wondering if even more members could eventually join Santos Escobar's new group. One of those superstars is already making it clear that she's keeping a close eye on them, and that's NXT's Lola Vice. Lola quoted a tweet from the WWE of Santos' new faction, and she said, with a thinking face emoji. So it's a very vague tweet, but we can assume that the faction has at least sparked Lola's interest. There's no confirmed word on if Santos' new faction will be getting a woman in the group, but fans have been speculating that it kind of seems like Santos will need a woman in his new group, no matter what, because who will cancel out Zelina Vega? Gotta have someone who can take care of Zelina Vega for him, so adding a woman doesn't seem that unrealistic. We just have to wait and see who that one woman in the group may turn out to be. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.